Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Dear students, Assalamu alaikum. I am Dr. Riyaz Hussain and this is our lecture number 13 about course Organic Synthesis. Title of our lecture is Two Group Disconnection 1,5 Difunctionalized Compounds. The substrate, or we can say starting material, will contain two functional group, and the relationship between two functional group will be the 1,5 relationship. Therefore, this title, or we can say this topic, is called 1,5 difunctionalized compound. The compound will contain two functional group. We will disconnect the bond. We can disconnect alpha bond, beta bond, or the gamma bond. Then we will obtain two synthan. One synthan will carry as positive charge and the other synthan will carry as a negative charge. The synthan carrying a positive charge will act as electrophile, and the synthan carrying a negative charge will act as nucleophilic species, or we can say it is a nucleophile. Key concepts. Dear students, in this lecture we will discuss what are enols, what are enolates, what are enone, and what are enamine. Remember, enols, enolates, enone, and enamine are the bifunctional compound. For example, enone. Enone are those compounds which contain two functional groups. One functional group is keto group and the other is double bond, olefinic double bond. That's why these compounds are called enone. And similarly, enamine contain double bond and amino group within the same compound. Such compounds are called enamine. After this, we will discuss electrophilicity of carbonyl compounds and nucleophilicity of their enolates. Remember, carbonyl compounds are electrophilic in nature because they contain carbonyl functional group. Then we will discuss conjugate addition or Michael addition. In this addition, enolate are added to the alpha beta unsaturated carbonyl compound. Remember, this is 1,4 addition. In this addition, the enolate, or we can say the nucleophile, is added to the beta carbon of alpha beta unsaturated carbonyl compound. After covering these basic concepts, we will move toward disconnection and synthesis of 1,5 dicarbonyl compounds. Here is our target material, that is 1,5 dicarbonyl compound. First of all, we will disconnect the 1,5 dicarbonyl compound and convert that compound into its synthans, and then we will synthesize that target material. After this, we will discuss formation of enamine and their use as Michael donor. Remember, enamine are bifunctional compound and they act as Michael donor, or we can say they act as enolate. The work principle of enamine is like the working mechanism of enolate. Formation of enolates. When a carbonyl compound is treated with a base, then base abstracts the acidic proton. As a result, carbonyl compound is converted to enolate. Remember, carbonyl compounds are electrophilic in nature. The carbonyl carbon is electron deficient and act as electrophilic center, while the enolates of carbonyl compound act as a nucleophilic species. Which hydrogen from the carbonyl compound is abstracted? That is alpha hydrogen. And alpha hydrogen are those hydrogen which are bonded with alpha carbon, and alpha carbon is that carbon which is adjacent to the alpha, which is adjacent to the carbonyl group, which is alpha to the carbonyl group. So acidity of alpha hydrogen, carbonyl group, or we can say electron withdrawing group, increase the acidity of the alpha proton or the protons which are attached with alpha carbon. The acidity of the carbon hydrogen bond in these compounds is caused by a combination of the inductive electron withdrawing effect of the unsaturated groups. Unsaturated groups means the electron withdrawing groups, that is cyano group, nitro group, keto group, aldehyde group, ester group. And the other factor is resonance stabilization of the anion formed by the removal of a proton. Here is the order of electron withdrawing capacity. Here is the list of the groups which are arranged in decreasing order of their electron withdrawing nature. The nitro group is the most electron withdrawing group, and the keto group COR is less electron withdrawing than the nitro group, and the phenyl is the least electron withdrawing group. In the previous slides, we have discussed the formation of enolate from the carbonyl compounds. You can see when the carbonyl compound is treated with a base, then base abstract the acidic proton and convert the carbonyl compounds into enolate. If we do not have a base, we can treat the carbonyl compound with acid. Then if the carbonyl compound is treated with protic acid, then the carbonyl compound is not converted to the enolate, it is converted to the enol. See the structure. This is the ketone. This is the general formula of the ketone. In the presence of acid, the lone pair of oxygen acts as a nucleophile and it attacks at the proton of the acid. Then the proton from CH2 is abstracted by the chloride ion or the anion of the acid, and it gives us enol form. This is not the enolate. In the presence of base, remember, in the presence of base, carbonyl compound is converted to the enolate, and in the presence of acid, carbonyl compound is converted to the enol. This is the major difference between the acid catalyzed and the base catalyzed reactions of the carbonyl compounds. See, in this slide we will learn how the enolate is formed and how it is stabilized. See from the left side, this is diethyl malonate, malonic ester. CH2 is attached with the ester group on both sides. The carbon of the CH2 is the alpha carbon that is next to the carbonyl carbon. So the hydrogen attached to this alpha carbon are the alpha hydrogen. This CH2 is attached on both sides with the ester group. So due to electron withdrawing effect of the ester group, the proton attached to the alpha carbon are acidic in nature. Due to their acidic nature, base abstract the acidic proton, and the CH carries a negative charge. See the structure, the carbon is carrying the negative charge. This negative charge is in conjugation with the double bond. So see this negative charge is stabilized with the double bond of the carbonyl group. See, this is the enolate. This compound is called the enolate. When the charge on the carbon atom, then it is called carbanion, and when this charge is delocalized with the group, then it is called enolate ion. So the next third one is the another resonating structure of the enolate ion. The enolate is formed by abstraction of the acidic proton, and it is stabilized by the resonance effect. So resonance stabilizes the resulting enolate ion. Enol and enolate. In the previous slides we have discussed the formation of enol and formation of enolate. We have seen that enol and enolate are formed from the carbonyl compounds. When the carbonyl compound is treated with acid is treated with protic acid, then it is converted to enol, and if the same carbonyl compound is treated with a base, then it is converted to the enolate. So the question is that which are the precursors, or we can say which are the starting material for the formation of enol and enolate. Those starting material are carbonyl compounds. Among the carbonyl compounds, we can say they may be the aldehyde, they may be the ketones, and they may be the esters. So the carbonyl compounds, when they are present in carbonyl form, then they are electrophilic in nature. See the table. This table is showing the different carbonyl compounds which are arranged in increasing order of their electrophilicity if we move from right to left. See, on the right side, this is ester. When it is in carbonyl form, it's a most stable carbonyl compound and less reactive. Ketones, more electrophilic, and aldehydes are more electrophilic. So, see the arrow? It's showing that electrophilicity of carbonyl compound increasing from right to left. The most electrophilic carbonyl compound is the aldehyde. Below the carbonyl compound, there is the enolate of that carbonyl compound. Remember, enolate are formed from those carbonyl compounds which have alpha hydrogen. So this aldehyde have alpha hydrogen. So when this aldehyde is treated with a base, then it is converted to this type of enolate. So this ketone converted to this enolate, and this ester may be converted to this enolate. And below each carbonyl compound, there is the enolate of that carbonyl compound. The enolate of the carbonyl compound are also arranged in increasing order of their nucleophilicity. See here, if we move from left to right, then the nucleophilicity of the enolate of carbonyl compound is increasing. So enolate of the ester is most nucleophilic enol. Enolate of ester is most nucleophilic enolate, and enolate of aldehyde is the most stable enol, or enolate is the most stable enolate and less reactive nucleophile. So in short, we can say the carbonyl compounds act as electrophilic species and their enolates act as nucleophilic species. So among the carbonyl compounds, aldehydes are more electrophilic, while the enolate of the ester are more nucleophilic. Conjugate and direct addition. I mean reactivity of carbonyl compounds and reactivity of their respective enolates. Very electrophilic compounds such as acid chlorides or aldehydes tend to prefer direct addition. Dear students, in our previous slides, I told you that carbonyl compounds are electrophilic in nature, and the carbonyl compounds are the aldehydes, they may be the ketones, they may be the esters, they may be the acid halides. Among these carbonyl compounds, aldehyde and acid chlorides are more electrophilic than other carbonyl compounds. We have discussed this thing in our previous slides, and in the previous slides, the most reactive and most electrophilic carbonyl compound is aldehyde and acid chloride. So when our substrate is acid chloride or the aldehyde, then the nucleophile will attack at carbonyl carbon. So the product will be the direct addition. The product will be formed through mechanism of direct addition. Less electrophilic compounds such as esters or ketones tend to prefer conjugate addition, and conjugate addition is also called Michael addition. So, among the carbonyl compounds, acid chlorides and acid chlorides and aldehydes are more electrophilic. If our substrate is alpha beta unsaturated aldehyde or alpha beta unsaturated acid chloride, and it going to react with a nucleophile, then nucleophile will not attack at the beta carbon, but the nucleophile will attack at the carbonyl carbon, because in these carbonyl compounds, carbonyl carbon is more electrophilic than beta carbon. But if our substrate is alpha beta unsaturated ester or alpha beta unsaturated ketone, then the nucleophilic attack will occur at beta carbon rather than carbonyl carbon, because ketones and esters are less electrophilic carbonyl compound than acid chloride and aldehyde. Therefore, less electrophilic compound such as esters or ketones gives conjugate addition product or Michael addition product. Remember, conjugate addition, I mean addition of nucleophile at beta carbon of the alpha beta unsaturated carbonyl compound is called conjugate addition. Same idea applies to the enolates as well. So in the previous slides we have discussed that if the carbonyl compound have the alpha hydrogen, then such compounds can be converted to the enolates. It means every aldehyde, if it have alpha hydrogen, then it will be converted to the enolates. Among the enolates of esters are more nucleophilic rather than the enolates of aldehyde and ketone. Very nucleophilic enolates such as lithium enolates tend to prefer direct addition. So, if our enolate is more nucleophilic, like lithium enolate, now the question is that how the lithium enolates are formed? How the lithium enolate is formed? If we treat the carbonyl compound having alpha hydrogen with alkyl lithium, and here the alkyl lithium will act as a base, that base will abstract the alpha proton, that is acidic in nature, and convert the carbonyl compounds into lithium enolate. These lithium enolates are more nucleophilic. If our substrate is lithium enolate, then it gives us direct addition product. It means if our nucleophilic species is more nucleophilic, then it will attack at the carbonyl carbon of the electrophilic species, not at the beta carbon. And similarly, less nucleophilic enolates are enols, or we can say enamine, or enolate of 1,3-dicarbonyl compounds tend to do conjugate addition. Less nucleophilic enolates, I mean enolates of aldehyde, or we can say the enolates of ketones, or enamine. Remember, enamine works at the principle of the enolate or the enol. So, if our nucleophilic species is the enolate of ketone, or the enolate of aldehyde, or it is the enamine, or it is the enolate of 1,3-dicarbonyl compound, then such nucleophile are less nucleophilic species. So these nucleophilic species will attack at the beta carbon rather than carbonyl carbon. Therefore, less nucleophilic species gives us conjugate addition product and not the direct addition product. In short, the more electrophilic species like the acid chloride or aldehyde, if our substrate is more electrophilic species, then the nucleophile will directly attack at the carbonyl carbon rather than the beta carbon. And if our substrate is a less electrophilic species like esters or the ketones, then nucleophile will attack at beta carbon rather than carbonyl carbon. And similarly, the more nucleophilic species tend to give direct addition product, and the less nucleophilic species like the enolate or the enamines, or we can say the enols, they also gives conjugate addition product. Synthon nomenclature. Here we will discuss the synthon nomenclature. I mean, when a bond is cleaved within a target material, then we obtain two fragments. So one fragment will carry the positive charge and the other fragment will carry the negative charge. So it means the one fragment will act as acceptor species, or we can say acceptor synthon, and the other fragment will act as a donor synthon because that is carrying a negative charge. So see this target material which contain X functional group, and the carbon bearing the functional group is carbon number 1, and the adjacent carbon is carbon number 2, then carbon number 3, carbon number 4. This wiggly line is showing the disconnection of a bond, that bond which is present between carbon number 1 and carbon number 2. So similarly, the wiggly line is present between carbon number 2 and carbon number 3, and similarly carbon number 3 and carbon number 4. So D stand for donor synthon and A stand for acceptor synthon. So it means when a bond is cleaved, then we obtain a two fragment. Ultimately one will be the D synthon and the other will be the A synthon. Okay, here the superscript 2 and 3 are present. D2. The superscript shows the number of carbon atoms within the synthon. See over here, from example we can explain it. See over here, if the alpha bond is cleaved, the bond present between carbon number 1 and carbon number 2, this bond is cleaved. So we have two fragments. One fragment, this one, this is 1 X. It may be the A1 synthon or it may be the D1 synthon. A1 synthon or it may be the D1 synthon. And similarly, if the beta bond is cleaved, the bond present between carbon number 2 and carbon number 3, then this synthon will carry two carbon. So we can say this is A2 synthon or D2 synthon. And similarly, if the bond between carbon number 3 and carbon number 4 is cleaved, then we have A3 or D3 synthon. A3 or D3 synthon. Two group disconnection. Disconnection of 1,5-diketone. Here our target molecule is 1,5-diketone. Target material contains 2 carbonyl carbon. There are 2 carbonyl carbon, and the relationship between these 2 carbonyl carbon is 1,5 relationship. Therefore it is 1,5-diketone. When beta bond is cleaved, it means the bond present between carbon number 2 and carbon number 3 is cleaved. I am numbering the 1,5-diketone from left. The left carbonyl carbon is carbon number 1, then this alpha carbon is carbon number 2, and this carbon is carbon number 3. So we can say beta bond is cleaved. As why it is beta? I am saying beta bond because it is present between carbon number 2 and carbon number 3. When this beta bond is cleaved, then we have two fragments. As I told you in previous slides, that when a bond of the target molecule is cleaved, then we have two fragments. One fragment will carry the positive charge and the other fragment will carry the negative charge. So when this beta bond of 1,5-dicarbonyl compound is cleaved, then we have two fragments. One fragment, this one. This carbon is carrying a negative charge. It means this is enolate. And the other fragment is carrying a positive charge. So this is electrophilic species. It means this xanthan will act as electrophilic species and this xanthan will act as a nucleophilic species. That's why this is called D xanthan and this is called A xanthan. And here see the superscript, it's a D2 because this xanthan contains two carbonyl carbon, the functional group carbon 1 and the adjacent carbon 2. When this beta bond is cleaved, then we have two fragments. So this fragment carrying two carbon, this fragment bearing two carbon, functional group carbon and the adjacent carbon, and this xanthan is carrying a negative charge and bears the two carbon. So it's a D2 D xanthan and bearing a two carbon, that's why it's called D2 xanthan. And the other fragment, which is electrophilic in nature, it contains three carbon. Now start counting the number of carbon atom from other functional group, that is the carbonyl carbon 1. Carbonyl carbon is carbon number 1 and the adjacent carbon number 2 and the next one is the carbon number 3. So this fragment is carrying 3 carbon atom and this fragment is also carrying a positive charge. So this is acceptor xanthan. Because this xanthan is bearing 3 carbon atom, that's why it's called A3 xanthan. And we know the source of acceptor xanthan is alpha beta unsaturated carbonyl compound. That's why here is the double bond. And remember, keep one thing in your mind. If our compound, if our starting material, if our carbonyl compound is alpha beta unsaturated carbonyl compound, then remember its beta carbon is more electrophilic than the carbonyl carbon. If that carbonyl compound is ester or the ketone, see here, this is ketone, that's why the beta carbon is carrying a positive charge. So the source of this type of electrophilic species is alpha beta unsaturated carbonyl compound. Another odd numbered relationship means we can still use xanthans of natural polarity. The relationship with two carbonyl carbon is 1,5 relationship. It's 1,5 relationship. It means when a beta bond is cleaved, then we have two fragments. Each fragment possesses a natural polarity. The 1,5-diketone 1 disconnected to a D2 xanthan, that is enolate, and A3 xanthan, that is the acceptor fragment. That is the code of acceptor fragment is 2. You should realize the compound 2 is obtained from compound 3, that is the reagent 3. The conjugation in the enone makes the terminal carbon atom electrophilic. The conjugation in the enone makes the terminal carbon atom electrophilic. So I told you that if the compound is alpha beta unsaturated carbonyl compound, then its beta carbon, the terminal carbon, is the beta carbon. The olefinic unsaturated beta carbon is more electrophilic than the carbonyl carbon if the carbonyl compound is ketone or the ester. So in short, when a beta bond of the 1,5-dicarbonyl compound is cleaved, then we have two fragments, one is enolate and the other one is the alpha beta unsaturated carbonyl compound. So by treating the alpha beta unsaturated carbonyl compound with enolate, we can prepare 1,5-dicarbonyl compound. Synthesis of 1,5-dicarbonyl compound. First of all, we have ketone, it's treated with base, then the base will abstract the stick proton and convert it into enolate. See this one, this is enolate. The oxygen is bearing a negative charge. When this enolate comes in contact with alpha beta unsaturated carbonyl compound, then this negative charge of the enolate came back and this pi bond attack at the beta carbon rather than carbonyl carbon. Remember, in the previous slide we have discussed that if our substrate or the reactant is alpha beta unsaturated ketone, then the nucleophilic attack occur at beta carbon rather than carbonyl carbon, because such carbonyl compounds, such alpha beta unsaturated carbonyl compound gives conjugate addition product and not the direct addition product. So this nucleophilic species, that the compound 5, which is the enolate of the compound 4, attack at the beta carbon and give us species 6, that is another enolate, and this enolate accept a proton from the base and convert it to the target material 1. The only new thing is the combination of these two reagents, so that a carbon-carbon bond is made by conjugate addition of enolate to the enone 5. See, this is enolate and this is enone, giving an enolate 6 which abstract the proton and gives us product 1,5-diketone. So here is the question, that's a regioselectivity question. This raised the regioselectivity question of whether the enolate will add in a conjugate fashion or directly to the carbonyl group. In the previous slide, in the previous slide we have discussed that if our reactant is alpha beta unsaturated carbonyl compound and that carbonyl compound is ester or the ketone, then the nucleophilic species will attack at the beta carbon rather than the carbonyl carbon. So conjugate addition will occur. We need to consider which types of enolate and which types of enone are good at conjugate rather than direct addition, and that thing we have discussed in our previous slides, that very electrophilic species, which is the aldehyde or the acid halide, then these electrophilic species gives us direct addition product, and less electrophilic species, that is ketone or the ester, these electrophilic species gives us conjugate addition product, and similarly more very nucleophilic species gives direct addition product, and less nucleophilic species like the enol, enolate and enone gives us 1,4 addition or the Michael addition product, or we can say conjugate addition product. This slide is showing the some intermediate species formed during the reaction. See the enolate. The ketone is treated with a base, the base abstracting the stick proton and converts the carbonyl compound into a enolate. Negative charge species. There is negative charge on the oxygen with adjacent carbon-carbon double bond. See, this is carbon-carbon double bond and this oxygen bearing a negative charge. This type of compound is called enolate. Enamine. When the carbonyl compound is treated with the imine, its primary imine or the secondary imine, enamine, then nucleophilic direct attack. The lone pair of the nitrogen will attack at the carbonyl carbon and the bond between carbon and oxygen shift toward the oxygen. As a result, we obtained this type of enamine product. This bearing a nitrogen atom and adjacent to the carbon-carbon double bond. Enamine, Nr2 group adjacent to carbon-carbon double bond. Enamine reacts in similar way as enolates. The working principle of enamine is same as the working principle of the enolate. Enol. When a ketone is treated with protic acid, then the ketone or the carbonyl compound is converted to the enol. See this one. The enol bears the hydroxyl group next to the adjacent to the carbon-carbon double bond. Enol, hydroxyl group with adjacent carbon-carbon double bond. Alkene plus alcohol, enol. It means the compound containing two functional groups. One is OH group and the other is olefinic double bond. Then the resulting compound is called enol. So see here, this is enolate, this is enamine, and this is enol. The working principle of these three species, remember these three species are nucleophilic species, and these three species are formed from ketone. If the ketone is treated with a base, then it gives us enolate. If the ketone treated with amine, then it gives us enamine, and if the ketone is treated with protic acid, then it is converted to the enol. The working principle or the working mechanism of these three species, which is enolate, enol and enamine, is the same, and these species act as a nucleophilic species, or we can say electron rich species. Order of decreasing nucleophilic reactivity. In the previous slide we have discussed the intermediates. The nucleophilic intermediate is enolate, either it may be the enamine or it may be the enol. Enolate is only the negative charge carrying species, and remember the negative charge carrying species is more nucleophilic than the neutral species. So enolate are more nucleophilic than enamine and enol. Now see the comparative reactivity of enamine and enol. Enamine contains nitrogen, and nitrogen bears one lone pair, and enol contains OH group, and oxygen of the OH bears two lone pair. So there is a repulsion, that is lone pair repulsion in hydroxyl group. And remember the nitrogen is less electronegative than oxygen. The electronegativity of nitrogen is 3 and electronegativity of oxygen is 3.5. See here, in enol, oxygen bears two lone pairs. These lone pairs face lone pair repulsion, which is greater, and makes the availability of a lone pair for the nucleophilic attack less, while the nitrogen bears only one lone pair, and it is easily, there is no lone pair repulsion, and here is the only lone pair bond pair repulsion, which is less stronger and makes the nucleophilic attack easier. So we can say enamine is moderately nucleophilic and more nucleophilic than enol. Choosing a route of disconnection of compound 9. Compound 9 is 1,5-dicarbonyl compound. In the previous slide we have discussed disconnection of 1,5-diketone. 1,5-diketone are those compounds which are equivalent on both sides. That compound contain ketonic functional group on the left side as well as ketonic functional group on the right side. Now see the compound 9. Its left side contain aldehyde functional group and the right side contain ester functional group. It means the two sides of this compound are not equivalent. So here we can cleave beta bond from left side, or we can cleave the beta bond from the right side. It means we have a two path of the disconnection of compound 9. When path A is followed, disconnection path A, it means beta bond from left side is cleaved, then we have two fragments. The one fragment, fragment 7, is the enolate of the aldehyde, and the other fragment, that is acceptor fragment, acceptor syntha, that is compound 10, and that bears alpha beta unsaturated ester. So if the path B is followed, it means the beta bond from the right side is cleaved. Then again we have two fragments, that is fragment 10 and fragment 11. So when a beta bond from the left side is cleaved, then we have enolate of the ester, the compound 11, and the compound 10, that is alpha beta unsaturated aldehyde. So if we want to make 9, we have a choice between adding an enolate equivalent of the aldehyde 7 to an unsaturated ester 8, or an enolate equivalent to the ester 11 to an unsaturated aldehyde 10. But in this case we prefer the first path, that is disconnection path A, as the unsaturated ester 8 is more likely to do conjugate addition. And we have discussed in the previous slide that alpha beta unsaturated ester gives conjugate addition product because that is less electrophilic species, and enamine would be a good choice for 7. So the 7 is the enolate. Enolate, yes, enolate can be used as a reagent, but enamine of this aldehyde will be a good choice for the 7. Synthesis of 9, dear students, you must try by yourself to write the mechanism of synthesis of compound 9. Remember, here is a hint for you: enolate, enol and enamine works at the same principle, and that is conjugate addition of Michael addition, that is conjugate addition or Michael addition. The conjugate addition is also called Michael addition.